Welcome to Math 31, Section 5.4. We're going to be dividing decimals. So, the key to this section is to get rid of the decimal points in the divisor by moving them over far enough to eliminate the decimal, 2 spots in this case, and then changing the problem the same way in the dividend. So our new decimal point goes right behind the 4 and our divisor becomes 24. Now this is actually a different problem, but it yields the same answer because what we've essentially done is multiplied both the top, the dividend and divisor by 100, and anyway, those are compensating actions. Okay, so now how many groups of 24 go into 124? Well, that'd be 5. 5 times 24 is 120. We'll subtract and bring down the next digit. And our decimal lines up with the other decimal is what happens here. Now, how many groups of 24 go into 48? And that's exactly 2. 2 times 24 is exactly 48. So this one has no remainder, and we've got an accurate answer of 5.2. Okay, here's another example. We're supposed to also estimate the answer. So let's start by clearing the divisor of decimals. Move that over 1 spot to make it 18. And then the dividend over here, you have to move the decimal the same number of places. So you get 75.6, and our decimal will be above that decimal. Okay, the number of groups of 18 that go into 75 would be 4. And 4 times 18 is 72. We subtract. It gives 3, and the 6 comes down to join the fight. Now, how many groups of 18 go into 36? There's exactly 2 groups. 2 times 18 is exactly 36. So once again, there's no remainder. And our answer is 4.2. Now to estimate, you give an estimate of the dividend, which in this case is close to 8, and the divisor, which is close to 2, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we estimate that the answer would be close to 4. And 4.2, the actual answer, is indeed pretty close. Okay, here's one where we have to move the decimal 2 spots to clear it out of the divisor. So we have to move it 2 spots there too, and you get 254.6. Okay, groups of 38 that go into 254. 6 groups of 38. If you take 6 times 38, you get 228. And you can do that calculation on scratch paper. Subtracting, you get 4 minus 8. You have to borrow here. So you get 14 minus 8 is 6. 2 minus 4 minus 2 is 2. And the 6 joins the fight. Okay, how many groups of 38 go into 266? Well, this is close to 40, and we can get about 6 or 7 groups of 40. In the case here, we're going to go 7. 7 times 38, you can do that off to the side here. 6 carry 21 and 5 is 266. So we get exactly 266. And once again, there's no remainder in this problem. Okay, we're taking a negative divided by a negative. So our answer is going to be positive. And on these problems, you ignore the signs and then come back and make sure you've got the right type of answer here. All right, so we're taking 18.45. And we're dividing it by 4.5. Notice that I'm ignoring the signs for now. And our decimal has to move 1 spot in the divisor, so it has to move 1 spot in the dividend. Okay, how many groups of 45 go into 184? Well, if you take 4 times 45, you get 180. Subtracting gives 4, and we'll bring down the next digit. How many groups of 45 go into 45? Well, that'd be just 1. So we have no remainder once more. 4.1. Okay, the next, I think, 3 problems are all ones where we're dividing by a power of 10. So this is just 10 to the first power on the bottom. And when you do that, it's easy to do that. It's very easy to do. You count the number of zeros in the bottom, and that's how many decimal places you have to move this thing to the left. So you're going to go 1 to the left here and write the new number, 4.321. The next example, we have a positive divided by a negative. The rule says that's a negative answer, so we got to remember that. And there are 1, 2, 3 zeros, so when you divide by 1,000 here, your decimal has to move 3 places to the left. So it's 0.0462, and we have to manually make it a negative number, and that's easy to forget. But you need to somehow star that or do something to remember. Okay, here we have a negative over a negative, so I know my answer is going to be a positive. Dividing by 100, we'll move the decimal 2 spots to the left. So you got to go around a 9 and then a 0 that you have to introduce. And we know it's a positive answer. Okay, on this next one, we're given some values for x, y, and z. And we're asked to take the x value, which is 3.84, and divide it by the value of z, which we're given the 6.4. Okay, you got to move your decimal over 1 spot there, and so you got to move it over 1 spot there, which changes the problem but not the answer. 38.4. And there are exactly 6 groups of 64. Let's see what 64 times 6 is. 24 on the first round. 36 and 2 is 38. You get exactly 384, which is what we want. So there's no remainder here. So the answer is 0.6, 6/10. Okay, we're using the same values of x, but this time we're going to take the y value divided by 2. Now it's a negative value divided by a positive value, so our answer is negative. We'll supply that later. All right, the y is 0.6. It's actually negative 0.6. We're going to divide that by 2, which is 3, or 0.3. And 3 times 2 is 6. We'll subtract and get no remainder. And then we have to take into account that it's a negative value. Okay, one more example here. If 10 ounces of cheese is $2.60, what is the price per ounce? Well, you just take the $2.60 and divide it into 10 groups, and that each group will be the price of a single ounce. So it's essentially 260 divided by 10. Well, dividing by 10 is easy to do. You just move your decimal 1 to the left. So it's 0.260,